Okay, my friends, this is a disaster unfolding in Brazil. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Baritacupo Marahano. Anyway, that's just Brazil. Now, massive sinkholes, and I mean massive, in this town, northeastern Brazil. Now, we're Mudfossil people, most of you that have been here for a while. You can see these transition zones. You see that layer up here versus this layer here? This is not layers of sedimentation. And these are not little cracks from rain running off here. This is biology. And these layers are phospholipid phosphate membrane layers. And these little cracky looking things in between are what's called sarcomeres. This is a gigantic muscle, and I believe it's a heart, and it's eroding. And I've gone to the Google site looking into it, and I'm pretty sure of what I'm talking about. I'll show you why I make these claims. Okay, this is, I don't think it's going to end well here for this area. Okay, you saw this shot here where you have this layer and then you have what I call sarcomeres, and I'm pretty sure that's what they are. You see these lines in between these little blocks, here? Well, that is what muscle looks like. This layer here is this layer right here. This under here is the sarcomeres. That's what they look like. Now, that, again, is this layer is here. That's the surface layer. Below is the sarcomeres, which are the muscle. Same thing happened in Turkey. Only Turkey, the muscle itself transitioned into a hard stone. It didn't transition, or it didn't stay bloody like the one down in Brazil. However, there was enough blood in here, and there was layers of blood that eroded underneath this whole slab, and then the whole slab fell. Now, this is probably some different type of muscle than the muscle that was at Brazil. And I'm going to show you closely now. You see way down in here? These blocks? You see those blocks? That's muscle. They contract. Now, this has changed into a different substance than the one in Brazil. But you can still see where the red blood was feeding this. That was an artery. And there's other ones in here too. There's one over here, just barely can see. But they need blood, and they need a lot of blood when they're alive. Yes, blood. And underneath, I had one shot that showed all underneath it had eroded out. Now, this is on a hill, just like that one down in Brazil. I looked at it on Google. It's up high, and because I believe it was actually a heart. And the muscle in there is just completely, totally red, because heart is, not only is it filled with blood, the muscle is just saturated with blood. So let's go back and look at that again. Now, what you want to remember about blood is it stays fluid. The red blood stays literally fluid forever. It will wash right out. It's extremely easy to rehydrate. And there's water running through here. And these are pipes, I think, coming from sewage pipes or whatever, water pipes. And that's draining into here. But this right here, I believe that is one of the main valves in the heart. It's something to do with the plumbing of the heart, that big hole there. And all of this red blood is it's very, very red because of it's a bloody red heart. I'm going to show you the things that are on Earth that they just won't address because they have no solution to this. There is no solution to this. The Earth is changing very, very fast. We're pumping out too much water. We're taking on too much heat. The Arctic regions are melting very, very fast, creating huge amounts of of methane gases, which are destroying the atmosphere, and there's no stopping it because it's decomposition. You can't stop that. There's no way to do it. And we're in for some serious times. All right, so how do we go about investigating this disaster? Well, this is where it's occurring right here. These are the runoffs that they're showing, but it's all around this whole thing. And this is a huge mound. Here we are here at 174 meters high. All right, 173, 154. You come down to here and you're down to 130. So we're like 30 meters higher. All right, this area here is 115 meters. This is the valley that surrounds it, where all the runoff from this red blood is going. You can see it. It's everywhere. And it's running out from this, what I believe is a biological heart. And this is where it's all running down and running out and puddling down underneath here. That's red blood. That's not just red dirt. Well, it is, but it's red blood, because mud is nothing more than eroded flesh, basically. You see these things? This is not going to get better. As I showed you, this is sarcomeres. Now, can I say that with a complete surety? Look at the colors here. Look at the vibrant red, green. That is the colors of blood create these vibrant green colors. They're very, very nutritious. That's why they're living here, and everything around here is growing fabulously. I'm sure they don't even probably, add any fertilizer, because this is nothing more than a big glob of fertilizer. It's blood. They sell blood meal. Now, what else can I show that supports my claim? We have a runoff here, and where does it go? All right, it goes down into here, into this area. Then it comes down into this area here, and you see these colors? I always point to these colors being, there's some kind of enzymes or some kind of bacteria living there that loves that particular type of molecule that's in the blood. And there is all kinds of molecules in the blood, and they will collect in certain places. You see these? Now, if I was down here, I would collect samples of all of these different chemistry. What's coming out of this heart? I mean, there's nothing you can do. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to solve any problems here, but it's just interesting. Because when it comes down here, you can see these are actual, blood vessels and so forth. Let me find a couple. I had a couple of really good ones I was looking at. You can see there's no question they're blood vessels. Well, here's one right here. And they're using it for the blood to come out of it. All right, it's coming down here, and it's leaking down through that artery all the way down to here, and it stops there. That's what they do. The arteries come out, and I'm sure they're using that basically as a fertilizer. And they're all over the place here. You see them, you have to look at them carefully. You see these bumps sticking up? They're not sticking up there for no reason at all. Nobody came over and piled that up there. But what it does is it lets all this bleed into these very green patches. I think they know what the heck they're doing, because they're basically using that as fertilizer. To my way of thinking, you see the green coming in, and then it just migrates its way through the landscape here. You see this stuff? That's why it's so green. It's blood. Now, again, there's no way you can stop this. Here's another one over here. They're basically using this to fertilize their fields. And then you come up with this green looking stuff. What's that doing there? You see these pools here? Did they put those there? I don't think so. You see the fabric around here? That's literally fabric of a creature's body. They didn't come out here and put these little lines in here and so forth. This is 100% biology, my friends. 100%. If you looked at leather under a microscope, that's exactly what you're going to see. Identical. Because I have. Many times. What these little holes are out here, I don't know. Somebody might have dug little holes for watering or something, and they are here. But this is 100% biology, 100%, which everything is. There is nothing but biology. So I'm sorry to say there is nothing you're going to be able to do about this. It is going to work its way deeper and deeper because red blood just erodes. It's just a very, very fluid, rehydratable molecule. All right, hemoglobin, red. It just starts running, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And this baby is big. It's a good sized heart. I think this is a heart. I can't see anything else. Let me show you some other stuff that's hearts. Do you see how it's running off the side here? They're little rivulets, but they're because they were arteries. You see this one here running way out here? So I would like to have anybody that has any disaster going on that they'd like to have investigated. I'd like to look into them because I do. I look into this stuff. I found this very interesting too. If you follow this down, this is biology, no question about it. And it's feeding this into the ocean here with whatever that chemistry is, I don't know. But this is what happens in your body. You create all kinds of chemistry. These little fluffy things are just clouds. But this is not just clouds. This is some kind of a chemical reaction to whatever was in that water. And here's another little bit of biology. See this one? Dark blue. And this one here, light blue. Or it's light blue. It's just got to focus in and out. But all that's coming from all the way down towards here. If you follow this little, you got to really look close. Why would this all of a sudden show up here? Why? It's coming out of here. And this is all biological. It looks like, I'm not sure what piece of the biology it is, but if you follow it all the way back, all the way back, all the way back, and you got to follow every little trace, all the way back, all the way back. It's coming back into here, some gut stuff. All this stuff is in here. Now all of a sudden it starts to spread out into, I don't know what. This is all something to do with absorption. And it absorbs and it just sends it out to get rid of it. It's some kind of biology going on here that's serious. Now this is obviously because it's an overlap of the Google Earth pictures, but look at this stuff. Something was absorbing whatever is in here. This is an area, and you can see, if you look around, you can see it's some kind of absorption area where all of this fluids are eventually going to work their way out through that little tiny tube. And here you are over here where the heart is, I believe. So as far as I'm concerned, this could be the heart, this could be the gut area. Hard to see because there's so much dense forestation here, you really can't see much. This you can see because it's sticking way up in the air. That's quite high. But all this stuff runs out through here, which is basically, I think probably where it more or less poops. But the whole thing here, this is all biology. You see, these are all abrupt transitions. We're mud fossil people. We understand these things. Most people have no clue. Something was going on here with abrupt transitions. And they build where pretty much biology is, where the best biology creates the best fields and so forth. But there's no question there's some kind of abrupt transition here. That just didn't happen like somebody painted this and didn't paint that. No. This was biology and it stopped. Look at this. Down here we're at 775 meters. Up here we're at 985 meters. So this is a drop-off. And I say, oh, it's just running out. Yes, it is. But it's running out of some kind of biology that was up there, which is extremely green biology. And it's running down into here and running off. So anyway, there's that one. And I've been looking at a whole batch of them around Earth. Of course, I think I showed you Turkey, where it just collapsed. I've tried to get to hold of people about this, and nobody seems to be interested. Same thing with up in Alaska. I got a hold of National Geographic, National USGS service there. Oh yeah, they're going to talk to me. Well, when I told them it was biology, that's, and it's biology right up here. And this is a gigantic creature, and this right here is Mount Spur, which is my name, right there. And it's pooping right out of here and shooting it into here. This is a cloaca. Now, USGS won't do their job. And I got kind of nasty to them, because you have to. They won't listen. They won't do their job. So I think we should do something about that, for sure. I want truth, don't you? If you won't look, then there is no truth. These are all these different volcanoes that run all the way out through the Aleutian chain. I'll show you that in a minute. This is Mount Spur. And get a hold of any avian person. This is where it poops out here. This is the poop part. And this right here is the sphincter muscle that lets the urine part come together as what they call a cloaca. And the two of them join together, and then the whole thing squirts out into the Gulf, which is nothing but biology. Where do you see this down here? And again, I sent this to the USGS. I said, please explain this to me. I'm telling you, I know what it is, and you guys don't. You have no clue whatsoever. And they don't. And they don't care. Couldn't care less. That is not just hills and valleys and runoff under the ocean. That is some kind of arteries, veins, something like that. And look at this. This is just, they didn't put that road in there. That's not a road. That's going underwater. That's going underwater. All right, this up here is above, is right at the surface. This is biology, and they refuse to engage with anything that is outside of what they've been told to read. You go read chapter 27, and if anybody says anything, just say, go read chapter 27. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. This is biology. I'm showing biology all over the earth, because the earth is a biological creature, and so is Bennu, which is a heart. I've shown it over and over, and they have the piece of it back here on Earth. It's got the sarcomeres, it's got the phospholipid membranes, it's got the amino acids, the RNA, the DNA. It's got 16,000 chemicals that are in body tissues. It's got everything, and I just saw an article that said the most ridiculous argument ever made about a comet or an asteroid having a life on it. Like, they really demeaned people that were thinking about that. Well, have them explain this to me. I said, the USGS. I said, explain this. I'm telling you, this is biology. Beep. I'd like to see them all fired. They got to stop this nonsense of people think they're so damn smart they can't pay attention to what's right in front of their face. And that right there is a stinger from a scorpzilla, and all from here out to here, there's volcanoes, and they're going off because this is warming up. And as it warms up, the volcanoes will get more and more powerful. And they're not paying attention to this. As the Earth warms up, biology that was frozen is now unthawing. And it's getting explosive. And the same thing happened up in Russia. That was 10 years ago. I talked to the Russians about that because I was the only one really researching sinkholes. And it was methane gases exploded from a large, I think they're lungs. And there was a big sinkhole. And this is just basically what they have up there. They have this with all these holes all, and they were coming up all over the ground because these create methane gases when the blood and so forth, festers. That's what fossil fuels are, is basically blood. They say, oh, they're trees. No, they're not. Not good blood. Not the good volatile, really good oils. No. Those are made out of blood. Now, up in Russia, as I talked to the guy, I said, there's nothing you can do. They're just going to keep going. The more you pump, the more they will sink. And he said, whoa, it's exploding. I said, yeah, but that's the beginning. I said, you had one big one, something like this, and it was covered with ice in the tundra. Well, it's thawing them out. So instead of sinking in, the pressure underneath is so high now, did it pop that one up. And then a couple of weeks later, a whole bunch of little ones collapsed because there's no more pressure. So now they're starting to collapse as they keep taking the gases and the oils out. But there's nothing we can do to change things now. It's much, much, much too late. And it's because we are burning so many fossil fuels. We're expanding the envelope of the Earth. It's getting huger and huger and huger. I know that's a word, not a word. It's getting larger and larger and larger. Call it anything you want, but it's expanding like hell. And as that atmosphere expands, we scrub through the not vacuum of space. It's scrubbing, creating thousands of degrees of temperature at our outside edge of our atmosphere. Way out there, thousands. The only reason is because the bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger we get, the harder and harder and harder we scrub. Because space is nowhere near a vacuum. All of these things have been denied by the people we trusted to look into these things. I show these things, they won't pay attention. They will not look. Because they are menticide. They've been told, don't you ever say anything or we'll destroy your life. So they do follow the company rule. Don't say anything. Don't look at anything. Don't allow anybody to speak that's not saying the words we want them to say. And this is time to take it out, start it over again. And really, basically, you got to start almost everything. Okay, my friends, so these are muscle sarcomeres, and these are the little blocks that are very clear to see. Okay, here is Bennu, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is biology. They went up and picked it up, and they brought it back to Earth, and here it is. This phospholipid membranes, sarcomeres, another membrane, and more sarcomeres. There's the sarcomeres right there. And you say, Roger, what is a sarcomere? Well, a sarcomere comes from muscle. And specifically, this is heart muscle because Bennu is a heart. And you say, oh, come on, Roger, can you prove what you're saying? I said, well, let's take a look again at sarcomeres and membranes. Pretty simple to look at, little blocky sarcomeres. And there's a membrane on the bottom, on top, more sarcomeres, on top of that more. And they said, wow, this is a great surprise. We never expected this. Well, because they didn't expect it was a heart, because this is what a heart is. These are the sarcomeres I just showed you. These are the phospholipid membranes I just showed you. This is a heart on Earth from a heart attack victim, unfortunately, and these are the sarcomeres. Now, do you see any resemblance at all? Do you see any resemblance? Well, I see it's exactly identical. Now, not only that, guess what they found in this sample? They found 16,000 molecules that are in our body. They found 16 of the 20 amino acids that are in DNA and RNA. They found the 4 base pairs that make up DNA. They found uracil, which converts and works with the DNA. All of these things are biology. They found the clay, they found the moisture, they found the membranes, they found the sarcomeres, and now they say to think that this could have seeded life on Earth is just ridiculous. Anybody could think of that as just insane. Well, it didn't seed life on Earth. It was created from the impact of Mars. And you say, from Mars? Oh, come on, Roger. Well, guess what? Mars is loaded with these sarcomeres as well. Now, these are the sarcomeres. The red stuff, it erodes right out, and it's dusty, and it's red, and it's bloody. These other little tiny layers here are connective tissue. That makes it strong. These make it pull together. This is relaxed muscle. This is contracted muscle. This is down here, so you shrink your sarcomeres to pull the muscles in. I showed you what sarcomeres are, and they're on Bennu, and they're in hearts, and they're in muscle. It's on Bennu. And guess where else it is? On Mars. That's where Elon Musk wants to go. Let's see how he deals with NASA. He's dealing with everybody else, chopping everybody. Let's see what he does with NASA. It's the most incompetent bunch of people I've ever seen in my life. You see this? National USGS Geological Survey is just a waste of money. These people have no minds whatsoever. This is continued over millions of years that created all this. No, it didn't. That's muscle. And this is the dust that eroded out of here. And this is Mars. So don't all you conspiracy people tell me this is just fake. This is on Mars, and you can tell because there is no erosion in the dust that is the red stuff that has just dusted out from Mars because there's no surface water. There's going to be tons of water up there, but it's not on the surface. I got to be honest with you, the more I get into this, the more hysterical it gets. This is Quetzalcoatl. He's eating some kind of giant thing here, or a human, but he's pretty big to be eating a human. How big would that human be? Because Quetzalcoatl is on the East Coast. Actually, he is the East Coast. There's his head right there. He goes all the way up the East Coast. And his feathers are the green mountains up here. Feathers make things grow extremely green. You see that? Those are feathers. It's not just tectonic plate disruption or whatever they want to call it. Those are feathers. And they go all the way up to his feathered head. There's his shoulder and so forth. Comes all the way up, all the way around, all the way around. See his throat? There's his throat, goes all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, and spits right out here. And I got some fabulous new information about this, about Quetzalcoatl and what he is discharging here into this area right here. Now, what is this? That's his headdress. Why is it so green? Well, because feathers make things grow green. And I have gone in and looked at the actual feathers. There's no question they're feathers. You can see the patterns. As a matter of fact, they affect the weather. I'm not kidding you. This is why he calls Tornado Alley. Well, guess why? Here's why right here. These are feathers. They're ripples that goes over the top of his head. Right there. Ripple, 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 ripple. And it creates this weather pattern. Right out of Little Rock area. Little Rock, you see it? This is where it starts to ripple. And I think this is what is, causing some weather issues there. Tornado Alley. That could be. I would like to see the USGS or somebody that's supposed to do something try to make a 3D model of this and then send some, smoky waves over and see, does it recreate what's happening when the actual weather happens? There's feather pattern there. There's absolutely no question about it. They're all feathers, and it comes up out of the Gulf area there, and it just sweeps across. And I think it's got something to do with the tumble of the. I'm not sure. They could test it. And the other one, I think where I started with this one, there's nothing they can do about this. And you see that vibrant green? That's deep red oxygenated blood. Very, very strong blood there. And if blood is just watery, it's going to erode out there. You cannot stop it. Blood will rehydrate just like that. Okay, I guess that's plenty of time for today. I'm going to leave it at this. I'm showing you things. I'm showing you stuff that's on Mars. It's biology. Those are the Moki marbles, but on Mars, they're called the Mars blueberries. This is the picture from Mars. It's a basement layer of skin. Then there would have been an interstitium, which would have all those balls and straps moving around. And they have other ones where it's just dusted off. It's called the Mars Morse code. And that's somewhere. I think I have a shot. Here it is right here. This is just exactly what's in your skin. Just below your skin is all that fabric. And that lets your skin go this way and that way and come back, and it's anchored with these balls. Some stretch, some pinch together. That's skin. That's up on Mars. They call it the Mars Morse code. No clue what it is. These are the sarcomeres up on Mars. I showed you this. It's time to straighten out these agencies. They're not doing their job. They don't want to do their job because there's no money to doing their job. They knew there was fossils up there. This was 2015. May have found fossils. When then shut it right down. Oh, it's a pareidolia parody. Don't talk about that stuff. You make people go crazy. Well, and here's Mars. Whoops. Here's Mars where it got hit by Venus. That's wider than the United States. Venus has the same destructive gash on it, only Venus was more of an electrical discharge. Now this is what happened to Venus. And all this was recorded during historical times. This was not that long ago. And this is a welding arc. You go to any welder and ask him what he sees here. I mean, even anybody. I mean, anybody that's got a half a brain in their mind can see. This was an impact right here, and it hit, or maybe it was hit over here, but I think it hit here. And I would say it was coming this way, and bam, it hit with this. And that's the trail off of it that, as it ripped itself away from Mars. That's the two of them. Now, I don't know what else I could show you. I don't know what else to say. But I am going to be going over Quetzalcoatl here. There's his beards right there. I'd love to see some chemistry done on this. What's in these waters? What's in the water coming out of these rivers? And I mean, there's just so much to look at. And I'm going to be going into the west here, out west. Yikes. Wait till you see the stuff I'm going to be showing you out here that I have found. It's just stunning. This is all biology. Once again, this is not just little rivers and valleys. Once we get in here, you're going to see. And everybody that knows mud fossils understands the abrupt transitions. They understand all this kind of stuff. This is not just accidental little rivulets. It's time to really pay attention to what we're living on. All right, there's a lot to learn here, and I have a lot of that information. I've been studying this for a long time, and I am outside the box that I can think. I had all the DNA tests done on my stuff and CAT scans and all that. They're much, much obviously smaller, but they are still made out of geology, which is biology, that has turned into stone. All right, some of it erodes. Yes, absolutely. You get mud. That's the red beds. But some of even the meat just turns to stone. The fascia turns to stone. Tendons, muscles, organs, hearts. That's a heart. That's a heart right there. And that's the left ventricle wall, the big heavy-duty thick ventricle wall. And that's the outside. This is the bloop, 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 pumps the red blood up through here. This is, I can't remember, pulmonary arch or something. This is where the aortic arch comes out, I believe. But it's a heart. And that's the really tough membrane around the heart. And between this wall and that membrane, I mean, well, that wall of the muscle, you get this. And this was transferred in an area where it's just all silicates. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you. I love you all. It's time to get this out of the woods and get this taken care of. And have NASA do their job instead of dismissing everything. The USGS, same thing. Every one of the government agencies I try to work with, Family Lab was worse than any of them, basically. And the universities are worse than all of them. It's strictly related to keeping your job, keeping your funding, keeping your friends, and keeping out of the woods. You don't say anything that could get you upset. And they've got me in that box from academia because they keep attacking me, calling me a tinfoil hat guy and da-da-da-da. I'm showing the evidence. They have no evidence. They keep saying, oh, it was 50 million years, 100 million years ago. Ridiculous. Look at this. Continually over many millions of years, layer after layer after layer after layer. This is on Mars. They have no idea. Zero. That's muscle sarcomeres. It's just crazy what they're doing to the kids. They're destroying their minds. If you don't say what they tell you to say, they fail you. So, and what kids now know, they tell them stuff's not true. The things I've shown, there's no dismissing it. None, zero. So they will not speak to it. They just keep saying what they're saying over and over and over. And they're just hoping I'll go away. And that's not going to happen. This cat is out of the bag. They should step up and do what they're supposed to do. Otherwise, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And now we have, hopefully, Doge and Trump and all those guys that want to uncover this. They say they do. I still haven't seen that happen yet, but they say that's what their mission is. Let's see it happen. Get a hold of me, please. Even Kennedy. I have information about the interstitium layers in the body that nobody's ever seen before. They just, in 2018, said, yes, that's a new organ in the body. They still don't know how it works. I do. It's your immune system. And you have to have bacteria and enzymes living in there to protect you. And right now, our bacteria in our body is being attacked by a variety of things. And they're things that Kennedy's talking about. And I want to talk to him, too. I want to talk to everybody in science. You have to be multidisciplinary to do any science. You can't say, oh, what do you think about this? Oh, what do you think about that? Oh, and then it just turns into nonsense. And that's what we had, is stagnation because of niche science. You cannot do that. You have to have a broad spectrum of knowledge, or you have no knowledge at all. All right? Thank you. I love you all. Time to straighten this out. All right. This is Lassen National Park in the United States. You see that and you say, oh, that can't be real. Well, yes, it is real. And guess what it is? It is heart muscle. You see that? That's what heart muscle is. Myocardia refraction or some kind of problem. Cardiac muscle fiber nuclei. That's these. See the little spots on them? That's all the heavy-duty blood in there. You got to, when you run on your heart, you better have plenty of blood. And that's it right there.